Good evening, Dark and Darker Dungeon Delvers. This week I had a Q&A session with 3 members from the development team and we covered a wide range of topics such as the upcoming classes slated for development, the inclusion of Voip, the new map, increased players per lobby, as well as a host of other features. I also deep dived into the archives from last playtest, Reddit, and Discord. Strap in. We've got all the info piled into one video. We'll be starting with the upcoming dank forested cave map, where we will see an increase in player count per lobby up to 33. This map, known as B1, will have easier monsters than playtesters are accustomed to, enabling us to gear up better and earlier to help level the playing field. Throughout the map, a ton of singular blue extract portals will appear, allowing you the option to leave back to town. In town, you can turn in quests, bank, buy and sell at the merchants, including the recently introduced Goblin merchant, who will only appear at certain times in the week, offering rare loot. Adventurers will also be able to use the auction house to purchase and put up sell orders for equipment and items. Afterward, you can re-queue for the next match, pitting yourselves against a new lobby of 33 players on B1. For those players wishing to risk it all and go deeper, singular red delve portals will frequently appear throughout B1, allowing players to head to the B2 undead dungeon we are all used to and love, that has harder monsters and loot, along with a host of deadly traps and secret passages. B2 holds up to 16 players max for now, and a total of 8 blue extract and 9 red delve portals will appear throughout the map. This can technically allow every player on the map to either extract or go deeper to B3. There are actually more portals than players. At the end of the map, for groups wishing to stay together, 3 paired portals to extract or delve will always appear, offering a chance for large-scale PvP battles and ambushes as groups not wishing to separate earlier are forced to collide. This will come up later when we talk about the solo queue. B3, sometimes called Inferno or Hell, offers the most lucrative rewards and the highest risk, with modular play spaces, deadlier traps including lava floors, and multiple rooms brimming with monsters and strategic verticality. B3 chests and monsters frequently drop epic purples and legendary orange grade gear. Lockpicks have also been confirmed by the devs to be buyable at the merchants in town in the future, so rogues won't be required in each party. The main boss of this map cluster, B1 through B3, is the Lich, a challenging boss surrounded by minions that require a nice group composition, good gear, and teamwork to overcome. This boss has some wipe mechanics requiring players to stack together in order to disperse damage to the whole party. There's also a vicious targeted purple floating orb that will one-shot a player if it connects with them. This orb can be dragged onto a monster to deal massive damage to them, and throughout the fight, the Lich will frequently cast purple lightning arrows and resurrect his undead minions. Deep within the heart of B3 is the Obsidian Black Vault. To get inside requires passing through the Skull Door. The Skull Door cannot be lockpicked and requires a special Skull Key that has a very rare chance to spawn within B3. The Skull Key is a legendary item and spawns in opposite corners of the map from the vault, meaning players will likely not be able to use it until the next time they make it all the way down to B3. Within the Obsidian Vault is an entire host of some of the best chests in the game, and also extremely high quality loose loot, which will spawn on tables and around the vault, including epic grade weaponry. B3 only has 4 separate solo blue extract portals, so of the 9 players who can risk it all and enter, only a few can leave. Equip unique gear, search for secrets, fight monsters and a legendary boss, all while outwitting and outplaying the other treasure hunters. Welcome to Dark and Darker's first map. Next up, we have the hotly debated topic of a solo queue. The reason we likely won't see a solo queue in the immediate future is that the devs have purposely created an odd number of player slots to give solos and duos a fighting chance within the game world. Because the singular extract and delve portals always spawn first, and often long before the trio of portals will spawn, groups of 3 will have to consistently risk separating, or all of the 3-player parties may end up killing each other off, waiting at the end of each map as the circle closes in, consuming them all. Staying on a map when the timer hits 0 is instant death. This also gives smaller parties who can move quietly a high chance of trapping, using invisibility potions early, third partying, or superior tactics to ambush and eradicate the 3-player parties. This graph shows that the solo and duo makeup of players often made up about half of each lobby in the first playtest, and that in general the classes were all equally chosen. The vast majority of players did die each map, and for newer players it usually took them an average of 10 tries before they made their first extract. This was due to the large learning curve and challenging enemies, combined with the lack of healing items when spawning into B2. This will largely be resolved when we all start spawning into B1 in the future and can extract from B1 to buy, sell on the auction house, turn in quests, and etc. As far as private lobbies go, we can actually have really high hopes because the devs mentioned that private arenas and training grounds may be in the works. Additionally, we have kill cams already in place for spectating, so we could see some fun tournaments and competitive play in the future. They also mentioned that there will be the possibility of high roller lobbies where players will have to bring in certain items or gear in order to queue for it. Also, the Veteran Adventurer, or VA leaderboard, is already a scoring system that generates points based on monster and player kills, treasure collected, and a number of other factors each run. Failing to take a blue extract portal zeroed all of your VA points for that run, and you lost some of your previously banked VA score. Therefore, VA could be implemented as its own ranked system, which tries to group players into a lobby with similar Veteran Adventurer scores. Next up, due to extremely popular requests, Voip has been confirmed as being added into the game in the future. Prepare your ears for roleplay, screeching, treachery, and coordinated randoms to group up and raid your party or the Lich together. Voip and lobby chat are on the way. These developers have a long history of playing games like Ultima Online, World of Warcraft, EverQuest, Dungeons & Dragons, Escape from Tarkov, and Hunt Showdown. They are all gamers, and a lot of them were poached from top-tier and AAA game development studios. They want to release and balance an entire host of new and interesting classes to introduce into the Dark and Darker game world. The devs only released a cryptic list of upcoming confirmed classes by releasing only the first letter of each class, including the ones we already have. Here is the deciphered list of what each of these classes are likely to be. Prepare for polymorphed bears, damage over time spells, player summons, interesting weapons, and clouds of darkness. A lot of these classes will be familiar, but in the end, they're all just kind of educated guesses, so let me know in the comments if you think I missed any of what the classes may or may not be. Moving on, we've got achievements, crazy hard quest chains, streamer items, trophies, storage expansions, and cosmetics all making their way into the game world, possibly in some sort of hideout. The devs have already mentioned an interest in wipe cycles or seasons to keep the game fresh and bring in new classes, weapons, races, items, bosses, and maps. Here we have a theoretical breakdown of what new maps could look like based on some of the most upvoted ideas over these last playtests. So for this one, we would have B1 as an ice mountain, B2 would be a frozen castle, and B3 would be a large group of chambers that make up a dragon's hoard. For this next one, B1 would be an infested city of goblins and orcs, while B2 would be a sewer system filled with cultists and demons. B3 in this situation would be the labyrinth of the Minotaur, where the boss would rampage around, chasing players through traps and monsters, and that one would honestly be my personal favorite. I think we would have a lot of really fun situations and things come up in that B3. So these are just ideas and modules, but definitely you can see where the devs could take this idea and run with it in any direction and have lower or higher player counts all the way across the board. Now, the next topic that we see often debated is the idea of buy-to-play or free-to-play and the future of the game over the next year and a half. So many amazing ideas are being brought into the game by the passionate devs at Iron Mace, and you can really feel the love that they've been pouring into it. This is not an early access title looking to bank and bounce. They already have their funding fully secured all the way through to launch. With that in mind, here's the loose schedule of napkin-mathed releases and how you'll be able to play the game at launch and beyond. Now, none of this is set in stone, but the devs are considering a buy-to-play model similar to Hunt Showdown or Dead by Daylight instead of a more traditional free-to-play model with battle passes or content expansions. So far, we are looking at free play tests 1 weekend a month all the way until early access, which is estimated for the second quarter of 2023. And then a full launch will follow in the fourth quarter of 2023. In the meantime, head on over to their store page and wishlist the game on Steam to help them out, and join the official Discord, all which is listed below this video. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that this has been educational, entertaining, and informational. It took a ton of work to put this together, and I couldn't have done it alone. Please subscribe and like, constructively criticize or compliment down in the comments section below, and I'll see you for the next one.